Tonight, on Tales Blown In on the Jaguar Wind, tell us where we came from. A camp people story. Two men began a journey. They vowed to die together or succeed, but they flew on the wings of different birds, and only one of them returned. Let us find the story of this journey and bless the one who brought it to us. These two men were brothers, or so they were told. The women who claimed them as sons had brought them from the river people before their remembering. They flourished in our camps, but their rhythms were uneven because no father pressed them to his heart. Yet they were strong and cheerful boys and favorable hunting companions. When they married, the families of their wives took them as sons. But nothing quells the restlessness of uncertain origins. The woman who brought them as sons declared,
"I will tell you the truth."
But her words died like leaves on cut brush. When their wives had children, the two brothers looked at each other and said, "Let us search among the river people." They went east to Blood River. What did they find? Who could be seen to resemble them? The old men shrugged. The old women turned inward their eyes. Then they began to consider, what is the source of new infants at Blood River? One, the wombs of their mothers, and two, the booty of the riverman raids on foreign camps, with the heads of their fathers perhaps brought back in sacks. At the end, they even accosted that ancient wizard, old man who stands in the river. They feared his method, divination by drowning the supplicant and reviving him with the truth on his tongue. Nevertheless, they begged him, "Show us the truth of our origin." An old man standing in a river, that crocodile of Blood River, he challenged them.
"When you see the truth of your origin, you will also see the truth of your destiny, and one of you will die."
They returned to their own home camp and embraced their children and their wives, and they hunted also for those who had sustained their families. Now, this first journey to the river people is not the journey of which I spoke, nor is their second journey, nor their third, nor their fourth, to the west and to the south and to the north, for these were restless men. When their sons could split leaves with arrows, the brothers agreed, "Let us go." They asked no one's advice or consent. They gave their ceremonial song sticks to their wives, so the women might remarry if they chose. And they bound their hearts together like two pits in the fibers of a kutku berry. Then they set out for the mountain of origins, from which all life arose, at the time of the whole world thunder. Set out with only their hunting tools and a sleeping mat. The camp people were astonished that two grown men would set out for the clouds. Yet they did. They knew each other's hearts, so they did not speak, At night they smeared their skin with acrid leaves to deprive insects and predators of their meat. Back to back they slept on one mat. Their feet did not falter, for all their desire stretched forward, and none reached back. They could not believe when they arrived. The mountain of origins wasn't purple. It wasn't blue. Just like the home mountains, it was brown and gray. They looked all about them and they felt confused. The mountain was vast and they didn't know the source point. In their confusion, they slept and dreamed. And when they woke, the vines of their dreams entangled them. Fear was like a cuckoo berry surrounding the two tiny seeds of their hearts, inviting the high, soaring birds to swallow them up and to drop them out at the top. Thus, they reached the crest of the mountain and gazed down inside. So black a crater, they said with one voice, "Now we have come too far. We don't want to know our origin anymore." They were hungry. Their bones wailed like infants because of the cold. But their feet and their hands climbed them down through the mists, toehold by toehold, in secretive rock, finger crack by finger crack. They stood at the bottom at last. The blackness, the silence, the cold. They didn't look out and they didn't look in, because nothingness came to both sides of their eyes. In one voice they announced, "Nothingness." And the mountain of origins confirmed, "Nothingness, nothingness, nothingness." They knew the truth of their origin then, nothingness. They knew also the truth of their destiny, nothingness. And their first hearts, their hearts of passion which were bound together, dissolved into nothingness. The one brother said, "I'll remain here now." The other said, "I'll pass another season in the dream before I yield." So the one remained at his source and the other, through hazards and hardships, returned alone. Scars crossed scars on his skin. His eyelids twitched. The joints of his limbs lost faith in his bones. Direct to the house of Mo Tepiga, the healer, his bruised legs carried him on cup feet. To Mo Tepiga, whose name means stretched to the breaking point and kneaded back together. He did not speak. To Mo Tepiga, at whom no one shouts, he shouted, "Why didn't you tell me this?" Towards Mo Tepiga, whom no one touches, he lunged. He grabbed Mo Tepiga at the throat with his own 10 fingers, and the fingers of his brother as well. His eye beams battered through Mo Tepiga's eyes. Then, into the abode of nothingness, where Mo Tepiga every day must triumph to survive. Into the abode of nothingness the traveler fell. Thus the brother who returned from the mountain of origins told Mo Tepiga everything with words, with signs, with the rhythm of his being. Now stitch closed your lips, Mo Tepiga cautioned. and I will tell your story to those who need telling. This camp will surely die if all first hearts are lost. But you stay here with me to brace against the wall of nothingness that is falling down around us all. So Motopika said, indeed. And straightway the traveler, he forgot it all, forgot when the palms of his wife touched his chest, and he joined his companions on the early morning trail again, and hunted also for his brother's family until that day that nothingness reclaimed his eyes and the red ants carried his meat into their nests. Listener, now hide this story in your secret pouch and do not show it about. Or have you seen the bird of passage reverse its path mid-flight? At dark he lies down to emptiness. At daylight he rises to emptiness. The path he walks is strung taut, from death to death across emptiness. Who is he? Tales blown in on a Jaguar Wind are dramatized from the remarkable writings of Jean Maria Arrigo. Tonight's tale was voiced by Wes Chester with Talia Morales. Theme music and original score by Wes Chester. Sound recording, engineering, and design by WCEXA. Incidental music and sound effects secured through artlist.com. Administrative support is provided by Hal Brody. This podcast series is funded by a generous donation from the following: Norman Wong, Dick Martin and Cindy Ballantine, Chin Chin Wu, Miriam Herb Allen, and Hal Brody. All rights reserved. The estate of Jean Maria Arrigo. Copyright Wes Chester, 2024.